Welcome to the Nightly News with Rachel Mackenzie. The situation has escalated quickly. What we're witnessing now feels eerily similar to past tensions from the Cold War. The topic under discussion involves setting rivals against each other. Some political leaders are using derogatory terms. Recently, 18-year-old Jamie Harris from Springfield tried to throw a random object onto a basketball court, missing the intended target and hitting a young girl instead. The confusion surrounding such incidents is growing. Meanwhile, there are also concerns about certain societal trends. Joining university fraternities, for instance, may appear to be a harmless tradition, but it's being linked to troubling histories. Many argue that this connection undermines values of equality. The ongoing debate is intense, and some feel the need to speak out openly about the issue. In the midst of these conversations, there's a loud sense of frustration as people try to navigate the complexity of social dynamics. I often think about the way we view our communities, who we align with, and how these decisions shape us. It's important to recognize that no matter where we come from, we all contribute to this larger societal conversation. There's a deep sense of urgency in trying to understand what's happening, to make sure we don't repeat past mistakes. People are being encouraged to stand up, but the line between protest and discord is becoming increasingly blurred. As tensions rise, some feel trapped in a cycle of confrontation, with no clear way forward. It's not just about the individuals involved. It's about how these events are shaping the collective psyche. Everyone seems to be on edge, trying to make sense of the chaos. It's clear that we're at a crossroads, and how we move forward will define the future for generations to come. What we're discussing here is the concept of launching missiles at one another. If one side strikes, the other must retaliate, leading to a never-ending cycle. Nations only resort to such drastic measures when their very survival is on the line. The fact that certain political groups are threatening drastic actions signals the severity of the situation. I believe the country should have a clear, nonpartisan approach when it comes to decisions made based on population data. However, if extreme measures are going to be taken, I too will stand my ground. Have you noticed the things some groups have been willing to fight for? There was no major outcry when certain energy sources were restricted, and there was little reaction when concerns about climate change seemed to fade into the background. Some took extreme actions, even attacking electric vehicles, questioning the reasons behind it. The deeper issue seems to be tied to hidden political motivations, including financial schemes. These hidden agendas have fueled tensions. For example, certain political factions took drastic measures to preserve illegal immigration, which raises questions about their true intentions. Why would they fight so hard to maintain these policies? The answer lies in their pursuit of political power, and they're willing to go to great lengths to achieve it. In times like these, political maneuvering becomes far more than just a debate over policies. It's a battle for influence, with extreme actions taken to protect interests and secure advantages, all under the guise of defending what's best for the country. These situations often reveal the darker side of power struggles. Children born in the country are likely to vote for the Democratic Party. However, undocumented immigrants are also included in the census, and the census plays a key role in determining congressional districts. Therefore, the more undocumented immigrants in places like New York and California, the more congressional seats the Democratic Party gains. These are the fundamental components that strengthen the Democratic Party. The support of U.S. citizens, the influence of undocumented immigrants, and political maneuvering. We are currently engaged in a battle to preserve democracy, a struggle to secure the rights of citizens who support democratic values. If the Republicans are allowed to implement their agenda in solidly conservative states, it is crucial that the more liberal states take action. A national debate is necessary to address these issues. Do you now understand why the loss of a few congressional seats in Texas sparked a national controversy? This is why the rhetoric from certain political figures is becoming increasingly intense. Barack Obama, who had been relatively silent on this matter, recently issued a sharp critique of the situation in Texas. Obama, aware of the gravity of the situation, has spoken out strongly. The region's political figures are taking this issue so seriously that some have even proposed drastic measures, such as threatening to seek control over an island. If the Democrats were to secure the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Representatives by 2028, which remains a plausible outcome, it could shift the balance of power dramatically. They will have to fight for control over the state, and expanding the court to 13 judges might be necessary. If saving democracy is the goal, all of these steps need to be taken. Increasing the court size, adding more Democratic states, and making the flag show 52 stars is essential. Why? Because Texas is changing its boundaries. This call to preserve democracy is escalating to the same intensity as it did before the last major conflict. Some argue that we should just focus on removing criminals who are in the country illegally. Others suggest we delay redistricting until 2030 and take a more relaxed approach. But that plays directly into their hands. The Democratic Party has engaged in continuous political warfare for decades. The president has been attacked, spied on, and arrested multiple times. We've been debanked, censured, and Republican homes have been raided. Republicans have been shackled, investigated, and mistreated. Meanwhile, the country faces an invasion, and our tax dollars are being siphoned off by organizations that are funded by them. Their institutions are manipulating our youth. They're performing unethical experiments on them. They've tainted sports, orchestrated rebellions, and engaged in vote tampering. I can't help but wonder. It has been a brutal struggle for dominance. Yet, we haven't truly fought until now. At last, someone is standing up. This time, it's not about defending personal political gain. It's about defending the party. The Republicans have recently suffered huge losses in crucial states, and their financial backers have seen massive declines. They're finding it impossible to conceal the largest cover-up in American history. And the party is now struggling, with their popularity at an all-time low. It becomes evident that they've only maintained relevance through deceitful tactics. Let's not overlook the fact that the opposition manipulated the 2020 census by counting undocumented migrants. They actively pursued legal action against the former administration, determined to include undocumented migrants in the population count. Without these individuals, 20 to 30 seats in the House of Representatives would not have been secured for the opposition party. We are no longer willing to accept this. Trump has drawn a firm boundary. He demands that individuals without legal status be excluded from the census and removed from the country. I have directed the Department of Commerce to begin work immediately on a new, highly accurate census that reflects current facts and figures, particularly taking into account the data from the 2024 presidential election, he declared. Those residing in the country illegally will not be included in the census count. Democrats have manipulated illegal immigration and gerrymandering to alter district boundaries and strengthen their influence in the House. Trump, however, is putting an end to this. The census must be conducted during years ending in 5, which means Trump is facing a deadline. MSNBC warns that if he follows through with his plan, Democrats may face significant political losses. This could potentially lead to a collapse of the democratic process if states focus solely on inflating their population numbers while ignoring the needs and concerns of their citizens. By taking this action, Trump aims to correct what he perceives as a system manipulated by illegal immigration and partisan interests. The focus, according to him, must be on ensuring the census accurately represents only legal residents. The upcoming census is set to have wide-reaching consequences, with Trump positioning himself as a defender of electoral integrity. In the end, the debate over the census is more than just about counting people. It is about the very foundations of democracy. Trump is adamant that changes must be made to preserve the nation's values and avoid what he sees as a dangerous shift in the political landscape. The outcome of this move will have lasting implications on the future of the electoral system and governance in the United States. Americans elected Trump with the clear goal of dismantling a broken system. A system that allowed politicians to amass wealth through insider trading and gain power from illegal immigration. Every Republican state must evaluate the situation and take the right actions. It's unacceptable to count undocumented individuals in a census that can return Democrats to power in the House. Should we allow them to take control again based on skewed data, so they can gain more influence, slow deportations, and continue sending millions abroad for controversial policies like gender reassignment in foreign countries, while also pushing for hearings on diversity programs? Nancy Pelosi has expressed her desire to cut off children's access to essential services once she regains power. This is something we must fight against at a national level. We need to establish clear policies that protect all families and ensure fairness for everyone. It's a tough situation that we must address. There is too much division, too much confusion, and too much at stake. It is crucial to implement strict voter ID laws so that our democracy remains secure and genuine. We need to stand firm in ensuring that every vote counts and that our political system is not influenced by illegal or corrupt practices. The future of our country depends on these actions. We must be vigilant, and we must be bold. The path forward is not easy, but it's the one that will safeguard our values and protect future generations. Every day, we are faced with decisions that shape the future of our nation. It is time to act decisively and stand up for what's right. Let's not allow misinformation or corruption to dictate the course of our country. The power is in our hands, and it's time to use it. We must focus on reshaping our nation's priorities. It's critical to ensure that our borders are secure and that we address the underlying issues of corruption and neglect that have plagued our system. If we fail to confront these challenges head-on, we won't be able to restore the integrity of our nation. Everyone needs to take responsibility. I'm ready to step forward, and I hope many others who have served in critical roles will do the same. Together, we can meet the goals we've set and defend our country from threats within and beyond. For those who share our vision, there is an opportunity to make a real difference. By joining our efforts, you will not only be part of something greater, but also be rewarded for your commitment. We are actively seeking individuals who are dedicated to securing our future. And there's a significant bonus for those who take the plunge and join the cause. Whether you are a seasoned veteran or a newcomer, your role will be crucial in this fight for our country's well-being. There is no time to waste. The calls for action are growing louder, and we are at a tipping point. With every message received, the urgency of the situation becomes more apparent. People across the nation are eager for change and are ready to mobilize. We cannot afford to ignore the momentum building in our communities. The stakes are high, and we must act decisively. This is not just about political affiliation. It's about safeguarding our values and ensuring that future generations inherit a country that upholds the principles of liberty and justice. The road ahead may be difficult, but with unwavering determination, we can extinguish the forces that threaten our way of life. This group is on the brink of collapse. However, they could maintain control for an extended period if they stay determined. In reality, they are powerless to halt the movement. This is why they're resorting to tactics that deceive their supporters into thinking they're putting up a fight. Trump is utilizing the very system they established to secure a victory. As a result, the Democrats have no choice but to act outside of this system to salvage what remains of their party. They have been reduced to locking themselves in ICE detention centers, declaring that they've abandoned hope. We were formed by a collective force. They refused to grant us access to this resource. They chose not to reveal his identity, and we proceeded forward despite many obstacles. Essentially, they've imprisoned us, preventing us from entering or leaving freely. A new false alarm has emerged. 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 The Department of Homeland Security has issued this statement. This is a matter of grave importance. The individuals were not confined, and they are free to leave at any time. In fact, the Bureau of Prisons, which operates the facility, had to shut the gates to prevent the media from trespassing. In Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass continues to make waves with her controversial statements. She recently expressed concern about the city's future, claiming that Los Angeles is slowly fading away. When one source of income, when a sole breadwinner vanishes, it's not just a loss for a family. It rattles the very foundation of a neighborhood, she said. She emphasized that the city cannot allow this administration to bring instability to such a great place. Mayor Bass has also voiced her concerns about the impact of ICE raids on local businesses, particularly car washes. She claimed these raids were shutting them down, causing a ripple effect in the community. However, a local resident named Johnny proved her wrong when he arrived at a packed car wash, enjoying a deluxe service. The scene was bustling, and people were still getting their cars cleaned despite the mayor's claims. "Everything's busy," Johnny noted, showing that business as usual was continuing, though some may argue that ICE's presence in the city is affecting illegal workers. Life in Los Angeles moves on. Despite the challenges, the city is still running strong, and many are determined not to let fear of political changes disrupt their everyday routines. Meanwhile, Karen Bass appears increasingly agitated, her political power seemingly waning, and the pressure is building. The situation is reminiscent of South Park's take on the political climate, as they often highlight the chaos and absurdity surrounding political figures. Similarly, President Trump's political standing seems to be gaining momentum, adding to the ongoing turbulence in Los Angeles and beyond. His approval ratings have climbed by 2 points this summer, according to CNBC. The country is supportive of his actions on immigration, and there is a growing sense of economic optimism. For those who voted for Donald Trump, this is exactly what they had hoped for. Step by step, he has delivered on nearly every promise made. This is why his supporters view his presidency as an overwhelming success. With 200 days completed, just imagine the potential achievements over the next 200 days if this momentum continues. We've already created a stunning new garden patio, and now the women won't be struggling with their high heels in the dirt. A happy wife, a happy life. Simple as that. See my point? Anything is achievable if we just adopt the mindset of just do it, like Nike. Now it's time to take action, says Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. Enough with the talk of what we can't do, he insists. It's time for offense. I totally agree. This is pure, unvarnished politics. The Democrats don't really have an issue with gerrymandering. What they can't stand is the possibility of losing. They're deeply worried that the Republican Party, under President Donald Trump, is finally playing to win. We saw Donald Trump face a potential 700 years in federal prison. The stakes were high in the last presidential election. Yet, we came out victorious with excellent results and impressive margins. Now, we're working to adjust the boundaries of one state to better reflect its Hispanic population. Meanwhile, there's talk of adding stars to the flag and possibly granting statehood to Puerto Rico. But here's the thing. Two can play at that game. President Donald Trump has just announced a new census. This move could lead to a reduction of 20 electoral votes for the Democrats in the Electoral College system, as the number of congressional seats directly influences the allocation of electoral votes. This is a new kind of thinking. It's not about simply standing still or defending outdated principles. We are playing with a clear goal in mind: to win. We know the challenges we face come from a fierce and relentless opposition. While they might put on a good show, claiming to act in the best interest of the people, we are fully aware of their true intentions and what they stand for. President Donald Trump and this movement are signaling a new direction. From the heart of Texas, we see a clear and unwavering resolve. We are no longer content to sit back. It's time to fight back with the same intensity. We're switching to offense, taking control, and working to steer the country in the right direction. How much longer will we allow the Republican Party to be pushed around? Think about the schoolyard. You're only going to keep getting knocked down unless you stand up and fight back. It's time to draw the line and make sure we don't let others dictate the terms any longer. This isn't about going too far. This is about standing up for what's right, for our values, and for the future of the country. We are ready to take charge and change the game. The actions being proposed by the Republican Party are not groundbreaking. They are already within the bounds of the law. Everything this administration has done up to now has followed the legal and constitutional framework. And guess what? It's working. Yes, the president's approval ratings have improved this summer, surpassing previous levels. We are seeing a complete halt in mass migration, the border is secure, and economic optimism is on the rise. Consumer spending is increasing, and companies are exceeding earnings expectations. The fears of a recession are diminishing. As previously mentioned, this is exactly what the voters wanted. However, we must not forget that the same individuals who sought to remove President Donald Trump from the ballot in Colorado are still at work. They aim to disqualify him and imprison him. These efforts will not disappear, and this should be the guiding philosophy for the Republican Party moving forward. If you're just looking to make peace with the opposition, we want no part in it. Our mission is clear. We have one goal in mind: to secure a victory. And that victory for this nation means overcoming the opposition. The other party, now a minority, stands in our way of success. We know that with their defeat, the country will thrive. As our leader remarked a year ago, this nation was on the brink of collapse. Today, however, it stands as a beacon of success. What changed? The defeat of the opposing side. With their loss, the nation can rise to its full potential. You're thriving now. But don't forget the mockery you faced. Just look at how even popular culture ridicules you. Watch the latest parody shows making fun of the situation. Seriously, though, what makes you believe you have any say over my personal choices? Let me present a scenario. If a pregnant woman is killed and her unborn child dies as well, why is the perpetrator charged with a double homicide? The answer is simple: because society acknowledges the value of the unborn life. This isn't just about differing beliefs, it's about understanding the value placed on life. People can have various perspectives, but the fundamental truth remains. Life is sacred, and its protection is paramount. That's what we stand for. A society that values life and justice above all. It's about accountability. Evidence shows that life begins at conception. Were you recognized? Not only was I recognized, but they also captured the tiniest details perfectly. They nailed the posture, the hairstyle. Every little thing was spot on. And let's be honest, South Park can be brutally honest in their portrayals of people. that only highlights the influence and reach of what we're accomplishing at Turning Point USA. With billions of views and our ability to connect with young people on conservative values, it's truly incredible. The movement that President Trump has sparked, especially on college campuses nationwide, has been remarkable, and we've played a significant role in supporting it. It's an immense privilege. What's even more surprising is that the exact words were quoted on South Park. They're paying attention. Don't underestimate how many people are tuning in. Thanks, Charlie. Trump is aiming for the deal of a lifetime, one that could end the war between Ukraine and Russia. A summit between Trump and Putin might be closer than ever. Senior officials at the White House have suggested that Zelensky could be part of upcoming discussions. Trump has reiterated his commitment to doing whatever is necessary to secure peace. President Putin, however, dismissed the idea of holding a meeting with Trump, expressing clear reluctance earlier this morning. When asked about the potential for talks, Putin was firm in his stance, refusing to entertain the notion. Despite this, there are those who remain hopeful about the possibility of a meeting. Trump, for his part, remains ready to engage in any way he can to bring an end to the violence. The loss of 14,000 lives last month is a stark reminder of the stakes involved. With weekly casualties reportedly reaching 45,000. Trump has expressed his disdain for such prolonged suffering, labeling the situation as a tragedy. In the face of such devastating numbers, he has emphasized his commitment to finding a way to end the killing as soon as possible. As the story unfolds, White House correspondent Peter Doocy reports on the mood surrounding the potential meeting. He notes that there seems to be a wave of optimism among various stakeholders, many of whom believe that the talks could take place as early as next week. The general sentiment is one of cautious hope, with the prospect of a diplomatic breakthrough appearing more likely with each passing day. In Washington, discussions continue as to how to best approach the ongoing crisis. With both sides entrenched in their positions, the outcome of any potential meeting remains uncertain. However, the fact that a dialogue is even being considered signals a shift in the dynamics of the situation, offering a glimmer of hope for those seeking an end to the conflict. At times, these stories seem to take on a life of their own, much like the one we saw yesterday, which made waves with a headline that appeared in the Washington Post initially. The news hinted that a summit could take place within a week. However, as the excitement calms down, people start to think maybe a bit more preparation is needed. But in this case, it's different. Despite what we know, none of the necessary preparations, logistical, diplomatic, or security-related, have been made so far. Typically, these are areas where the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of State would want at least a couple of weeks to get everything in order. But that's not the situation here.